Right. Okay. So actually, to be honest, I need to like get the lights on. Let's just do this way. Let's just do it this way. We'll play it by ear. Keep forgetting how much of a difference it makes to even have like all this stuff on, like the whole full hammer and stuff like that. Yeah. So okay. First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank and welcome all of you for coming. And well, we'll certainly wait for this to get started. And I'll make sure to thank you very much for the first person who liked. Hopefully, I'll just put something in the chat very quickly. Can get started. Right. Okay. So should I just like get to the point about what we're doing this about, or do you think it'll be worth like hanging about and waiting for the time being? God Almighty, it could even it has even have it. They talked so much about like try to get like my get my hair cut and stuff like that, but to be honest, I'm like just holding on for it for dear life as it is. But we can get to it. By the way, first of all, hello everybody, hello chat. Thank you all of you for coming down and stuff like that. I'm gonna try and get to the point in all this because I didn't really want to like waffle on about issues about waiting for enough people to hear. So I may as let's get straight down to it. So um, things have been sort of tough for the last couple of days, and today was almost like the crescendo, like the big breaking point where I keep thinking to myself, it can't get any worse from here, but undoubtedly it did start getting worse. And well, first of all, since Thursday I've had like yet again problems with my left ear. It's almost like blocked up again just through like a sheer accident. And I got told when I tried to book an appointment on Friday that the woman who does the ear cleaning wouldn't be back in on Tuesday and that I should ring back then. So I rang earlier today and they told me that the earliest they could fit me in was next Tuesday. So I'll be basically stuck with a blocked ear for very nearly 10 days. And I don't know if you've ever walked around, ladies and gentlemen, whilst you can only half hear what's going on out of one ear, but you can hear perfectly fine out of the other. It's not a very pleasant experience. And you grow frustrated because, well, from my experience, I feel like people have an issue listening to me, even though I'm not the one with the blocked ear. So it can get annoying and get old very very quickly. So there was that. Then there's also the contention, ladies and gentlemen, that I was supposed to have a meeting with the Princess Trust today, and then I got told it would have to wait until next week because the woman I was supposed to have the meeting with only has just come back off of maternity leave, and I still have to wait, even though we was agreed that we would be having our meeting today. And no, we still can't get it done. Is there anything else I need to like worth mentioning? Because those things are like bad on their own, but again, then there's like problems at work I have, and I know we all have problems at work, but this one just just the thing at work is just leaving me feeling very very despondent and very very doubtful about really how long I can realistically put up with staying there. Then then the fact that my shoes, the sole is starting to wear out, and I can't really be doing with that. I just oh, and then of course earlier this month I just had to make pay like £400 in order to. Thank you very much, Megan. Well, I feel like here's the thing with that is that I could sit here forever and list all the problems I had in that, and also like just as a petty annoyance, I tried to have like a nap earlier today for like an hour, and it lasted, and I would have slept for a lot longer and I usually do have like naps on my day off when legitimately I can't think of anything better to do. So I may as well just go to sleep for an hour just to relax and maybe just take a bit of the edge off. And then I get woken up by about like 1:45 in the afternoon by kids screaming outside. I feel like I'm either on the precipice of like having like a nervous breakdown, or I feel like I'm just gonna say something and I'm just gonna things are just gonna kick off because I swear to God, my cranium is like ready to explode as it is already. And one thing I need to keep in mind is that the pressure to one to do well in this world, the pressure of trying to put up with all of this, the fact that starting Thursday, I've got to be at work for the next 9 days in a row, which is only tantamount to the maximum of working 10 days in a row. And I feel like I don't even know how I'm even going to do that. I don't even know if who else would put up with such a thing as that. And I just with everything that's happened, I don't even if someone is testing me, then they are really, really trying to go out of their way to make sure that I'm gonna have issues because I'm not even I don't even I don't even know why I'm even meant to start with certain things and stuff like that. Because okay, basic just I don't even know sometimes. Like literally, sometimes when I have like days off work, sometimes I will spend them like so worried about having to bother to go back to work that you can't really enjoy them. And this was never the case when I was at my old job. When I was at my old job, the only day I would have off was Sunday, but at least I always got Sunday off. So if I was going to make the most of my Sunday, then guess what? I was going to do it. It's not like that anymore, and it doesn't feel right that it's not like that either. I feel like I want some actual structure. I want some actual like I should know when I clock in and when I clock out. There shouldn't be any nasty surprises and stuff like that. Yeah, it's and then of course I want to cut to what I was also on about with the Prince's Trust. So let's talk about that. So for those not in the know, I run at least 25 other YouTube channels, and currently, ladies and gentlemen, I have to get my shit in order basically, so that one I can present to the Prince's Trust about how much money I've made in revenue and how much of it's taxed. Basically, I have to present everything I have so that I will be seen as an investment, and I could possibly even do stuff like this full time. I would absolutely love to return to doing like Elsa the Locale Express as your conductor and driver, and possibly even like I don't know, don a uniform and become like an entire character of its own and manifest itself into making some really exciting videos and stuff like that. I would love to be able to like do all of this again, but at the moment, I don't even know where I'm even meant to begin. I don't even know where I'm meant to start, and I become like increasingly worried and concerned that what happens if all of this comes to fruition and I sit down ready for people to come and watch and nobody shows up. I don't really know what I'm meant to do in that scenario, and it's concerning me that well, can I just would it be of any interest to you guys if I sort of like walked you through my plan for for what's going to happen basically at the begin all the way through 2025? Well, in case you're not, I'm gonna just reference it right now. So let me pull up to you guys right now what RageCon 4 sort of looks like. So just give me 1 second there. I'll make sure to okay, so okay, here we are. So what you're looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh god. Um oh, hang on. So what you're looking at right now, hmm, is there any way I can like no, I can't really do that. Okay, right, hang on. Whoa, 1 second. one page, stuff like that. Okay, okay. I'll tell you what. Let's well, I'll just talk you guys through it. So this is sort of what January looks like if I was to start. So in January, I would need to average 10,000 views a day across all of my YouTube channels in January. That's part one. Part two, I need to average 25 subscribers a day across all of my channels in January. So that's an average of each channel gaining a new subscriber every single day. And that's happening all throughout January. That's what I've got to aim to. Three, I need to average 10 subscribers on my Patreon all the way through January. And it's part of the reason why production started a couple of days ago, ladies and gentlemen, so that if I'm fortunate, I should be able to amass enough videos like in separate categories so that everything under one roof, sunshine indoors and all that, so that people can see what I'm getting up to and it gives people the opportunity to see what it's all about. Next, four, I would need to average £250 in revenue in January. This comes in the form of the revenue I make from my YouTube videos, the revenue I make from Patreon, through Twitch and stuff like that. But basically, if we're going to get this off on the right foot, £250 is what I would have to make minimum. And five, I would need to make 600 videos across all of my channels in January. 600 videos, and if I pull up my calculator right here, we'll play it by year, but this is sort of where we venture into sort of is that even possible territory. So 600 divided by 31, that means we are talking on average, let's just call it 19 videos a day across my channels, which 19 video, well, basically one video going up on at least 19 of my channels is on average, because there are some channels absolutely where there's going to be videos that will be coming out weekly and stuff like that, which makes sense for what they are, but for it to be a daily thing on my other ones, for just one person to be in charge of, it's kind of a little bit hard to formulate that properly. Now, when it comes to February, it's a little bit more straightforward. Well, not quite, because I would need to average 11,000 views a day, 26 subscribers across all my channels. Once again, 10 subscribers. I would have to average £300 in revenue in February and still make 600 videos. Then in March, it's 12,000, 27, 350. April, 13, 28, 400. So this carries on, by the way, and then we get into the really harder stuff when it comes to June. Because in June, I would need to average 15,000 views a day. And let's break this down again, because some of these calculations are outrageous for like a team of at least 6 people. But no, we're talking literally like one person who's going to be behind this machine, this monster. So let's say divided by 30, it means that it's on average 500 views a day. But if we divide that by 25, it means that at least every channel would have to have at least 20 views a day for it, which, when you think about it, isn't really that hard in retrospective to get. It can't really be as hard as some of these figures try to make out to be, which isn't. It's that's not the thing that's troubling me. I actually think that it is probably a little bit more doable than I might think. However, then we get into July. Now, July is, I haven't written it down yet, but July works out something like this. Because each month we upgrade the views per month by at least 1,000 is sort of how we're doing this. But for July onwards, we're amping it up to 2,000 extra a month. 2,000 extra a month means that if I am doing my calculations properly, and on average I do, so we'll just play it by ear and just type in 2025, and there we go through bullet points like this. I would need to average. I apologize, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I know, again, me talking about this isn't particularly. I might do literally a PowerPoint presentation as well, and maybe bring that to the Princess Trust next week, because I do actually need to have something of a business plan with graphs and figures and stuff like that. And there is a channel I'm doing specifically for this sort of thing, but it may not look that interesting either. But average at least 35 subscribers across all my channels. How's in July? Then I need to average 10. I'm averaging like 10 subscribers on Patreon and all that, because I think that's about as much as I'm ever likely to get. If people are a fan of this sort of thing, you never know, ladies and gentlemen. Even I can probably surprise myself. Average 600 views again. In July. So again, let me I'll just explain this very, very quickly. It's 17,000 view. One second. Average about £600 in revenue. In revenue. In July. So there we go. So let me break it down for you guys like this. Let's see, how do I do? There we go. Okay, 17,000 divided by 30. So on average, we'll call it 567 views across all of my channels per day, all the way through the month of July. And let me tell you now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the point. When we get into July is when it proves to be quite a challenge. Not because it's difficult, but because it's probably you're balancing all of this out, and you're wondering if it's even you could even theoretically do it with the sort of schedule that I'm on. And even if I was to like have time on my more time to do this, like for example, if I did part-time at my job and spent more time doing this, I wonder if that would even like balance it out somehow. But then again, I would have to obviously take it on the chin in terms of like a reduced pay and stuff like that. But getting back to the matter at hand, what I plan to do, ladies and gentlemen, is sort of like an incentive to try harder, is that they have a feature in YouTube Studio where if you want to like get paid out monthly and that, you can change the targets for when you get paid off YouTube. So on average, everybody, just the default for the lowest is about £60 sterling a month. You have to like reach an ad revenue before it can be withdrawn into your account. But you can change it. And that's what I'm going to do as an incentive to work harder, is that in January, well, just before January begins, I'm going to change it to £250, which means that I have to get cracking. I've got to work hard on that, and I've got to make it pay. I've got to make it pay, as you might suspect. And then when January ends, I'll change it to £300 is the base minimum. So what I've got to do is work like an absolute ox, and I have to work like an ox with 8 legs if I'm ever going to like get that high, because the most I've ever like got out of YouTube like a month has been about like £333 pounds, which hey, you know what? I'm extremely grateful and very, very thankful and proud of the fact that it was down to you guys watching my material. That's kind of what it was. It's all comes down to. So if that's I've got to obviously work hard and make it all back and be assert myself to actually working hard. That's what it's got to be all about. And then again, we come to March and it's £350, so we have to go up again. It's an incentive, ladies and gentlemen, to work hard and then to work even harder, and then probably even to work smarter. Because I'm averaging like 10 subscribers on Patreon a month because I may even have hazarded a guess that maybe if my stuff reaches about like say 100,000 people, it could be either through YouTube, it could be through Instagram, Twitter, and stuff like that. But if I can reach that sort of audience, I'd say out of 100,000 people, maybe 1% might click on my Patreon. Maybe half of that again would even consider like subscribing to it, which I don't know if like the figures work out or if they go through my Patreon and they find that there's absolutely nothing there to see. I don't really know what I would do. Apart from I would have to go at it time and time again. Then, of course, there are certain other things I would have to keep on top of. For example, how I was going to keep on track of paying for things like if I would need to get like an extension in terms of like Dropbox or through like my Gmail account and storage and stuff like that. Then you have to. There's things to take into account in this. So I would say even if I was to like get extension on Dropbox and extension on like my Gmail storage and stuff like that, then I would say if like say for example in April I made about £400 on in total, then about 150 or so will go towards like business expenses, not just through Dropbox and Gmail, but also goes towards, my Adobe license, as well as paying off my gaming PC for when I do like gaming videos and upload them onto YouTube, and as well as just a whole bunch of like again my Adobe license and stuff like that. So I would say probably maybe half of it, to be honest, is probably going to be going towards like and then of course again there's just the everyday expenses of just getting from day to day. So you could almost argue that this is the sort of thing that would go quite a long way. And then May, well, actually, again, let's get into June because £500 a month I would have to average in June. I think it's at this point where things might become a little bit tricky because if I was being completely fair and honest, ladies and gentlemen, there are other ways of getting around this. Now, if I was to subscribe to the idea that out of like the 25 channels I was running, if we get up to June of that year, and only if 15 of my channels were eligible for monetization, aka I could make money from them, and all of them average like 10 quid a month, that's still £190 automatically because it's like when you run like separate accounts where through one Gmail through one account, um, it mashes together basically. So that's how they do it. I think it only counts if they all go above like if combined they all go above the threshold. So that's one thing to take into consideration, I suppose. So where was I? That's still like it's only really half the battle. But again, if by June we had another 10 subscribers on Patreon, that's 60 subscribers on Patreon, like right there. And I would set like the baseline in terms of like subscriptions would be like um like if I was to the baseline would be like £5 a month to join and you get full access to all the things I post exclusively to Patreon. £10 a month would give you access to not only all of my videos, but you're able to actively suggest and come up with like recommendations for me to watch. and those would be Patreon exclusive. So you never know, ladies and gentlemen. There could be some ways to spawn ideas and stuff like that. So there are, in my opinions, ways of like conjuring, like bringing ideas to the forefront, and it has to work at some point because remember, July, 17,000 views a day, another 10. Then I would have to reach nearly 600 pounds in revenue. 600 quid in revenue. How on earth am I going to do that? That's 600. I don't even really know where to start with stuff like with something like that. I mean, I could argue very strongly that it's absolutely doable, as I've done many times before. But what happens when we get to July? Okay, so July it's 600, August is 650, September will be 700, October 800 7. No, it's okay. No, okay. Let me try again. August will be 650. September will be 700. October 750. November 800, and December £850. I had to make in just December alone, which means that again. Let's just okay. Let's see. 250. Add 450. Add 500. 500, 600, add 700. No. No. It's 2850. Add 650. Add 700. Add 750. Add 800. 850. So if my calculations are correct, and this is like a really big calculation, but in all the way throughout 2025, if I'm lucky and if the stars align and people like my work and they subscribe to it, then that means that I have to make £6,600 in revenue through what I do on the internet just in that year alone. That is, as you might listen. I don't claim to be like massive or anything like that. In fact, even at the position of where I'm at, even just on this channel alone, those sort of figures are like astronomical. You may as well tell me it's $660,000 or pounds. But the interesting reflection of this is, well, quite frankly, this. I think it's completely fine. I think it's completely doable. I don't really suspect that there's going to be a set amount of issues. I mean, the only real issue I have so far at this moment is just trying to get myself organized. I have to make time to do this. I've got to get my stuff prepared. I've got to get ready. I've got to know what to do. And because I mentioned all about the stresses that I was under for the last couple of days, and with how it's almost sort of circumnavigated right now, well, the only thing I could say to that effect, ladies and gentlemen, is that I have one of two choices. Either completely back out and completely, serve orders to quit and just not even try anymore, or B, I can face this. If I have been put to the test, then you know what? Then test I shall be. And this entire year has been a tremendous challenge, but one that I've not backed down from. I've stood up to the challenge. I may not have succeeded, I may not have passed it, but you know what? I damn tried, and I will continue to try no matter what comes my way. So I think I'm going to go with option B, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's kind of what I've already started, ladies and gentlemen, and well, to be honest, I've got to get cracking. So, and I'm just gonna just do a quick little thing right now because I recorded about like 10 videos, I think, in total today, many of which are going to be going out over the next couple of days. But there is, let me just pull up the actual numbers and stuff like that because on average, I'd say I'd have to make. Let me see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24 videos that are currently in the oven, as I'm calling them. They are in my my special kiln. Now, and to be honest, with the date set in mind, 24 days means it's going to take us until uh, okay. So we got that 17 and so for my calculations is that the videos I've got ready to put out right now. Through releasing one video every single day on my main channel will take us into Saturday of next month, all the way in September by the time we're done. And if I'm being completely honest again, ladies and gentlemen, and I know you've probably heard me say that a few times, we need to get all the way until probably the end of September in like the next 2 days. I need to have basically got the equivalent of about 23 more videos done in the span of about 3 days. And you can only gather what that's supposed to mean. So we could probably break it down for something like this. Okay, so let's say 600 videos a month we have to release. So let's just do a little again. We'll do a little bit of math here. I know it's like nearly 10 to 11 at night over here. I'm extremely stressed, extremely worried, extremely concerned about if the fact that I'm sort of throwing myself to the elements in all of this by doing it all on myself. But let's just do it this way. Okay, so how many days? Let me go through Google 1 second. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's ask Siri. Siri, Siri, how many days are there left in the year of 2024? There's 141 days remaining. Thank you very much, Siri. Siri, thank you.
You're welcome.
There we are. So okay, 141 days. So let's say let's play let's play Carol Vorderman here for 1 second. So here we go. So let's say on average I made 5 videos every single day from this point onwards all the way till the end of the year. So on average, let's say 5 times 141. So that means 705 videos we'll have had made by the end of the year. I know what you're probably thinking, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, I understand it as well. We are basically up shit creek without a paddle if it continues that way. But fortunately, there are plenty of things to suggest about this. Now, this is where the only real good side of my chaotic rota at work might actually come into play here. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there will be days in which I will work from 12 till 8. So I could arrive home at like 8:30. I could, do what I have to do. And basically the amount of time I would get to like recording and do work, record videos and stuff like that will be from 9 o'clock to roughly 11. So 2 hours is how I make it. 2 hours is enough to at least record 6 to 7 videos. So let's try and break it down like that again. So let's say 7 by 141. That means we'll be up to 987. If on average and if all the stars align, then we might be able to work like that. That's maybe a slightly better way to go. But, and there's a huge but in all of this, what about the days when I have off work? So for all the days I have off work and stuff like that, so for like 2 days a week, we could play something like this. What if we did 14 videos a day? So, okay, so so if there's 141 days left in the year, and I have at least 10 days off for holiday time and stuff like that. Actually, let's calculate that first. Let's knock that out of the way. So, let's say if we made about 12 videos a day, 12 by 10. That's 120 videos in 10 days on average we can make during that time period. So 10 days away from the 141, that already brings the emissions immediately down to 131 days left. And then, of course, you have to contend with the fact that there's also things like, the 2 days off because I work 40 hours a week. So it plays out something a little bit like this. 141 is 20, so basically 20 weeks is what we're talking about here. We've already got rid of 10 days off the bat, so we're to 131. Now we know that there are 7 days in a week, and we know that 141 is 20 times by it. No, it's 20 times 7.05. So we get to 141 that way. So you've also got to take into account that 2 days off each of those. So come on, I should know this stuff. I'm good for this. Okay, so 20 by 2. So that's on average at least another 20 days in terms of days off. So it works out something like that. So 20 and 20, if we made again 12 videos a day throughout all the days off we have right there. So it's 20 by 12 by 20, I should say. So that's another 240 to add on. So we add that on to 360. We add 360, 360 videos, and then add that to 987. It means that if we get our skates on and if things go well and the stars align and I am absolutely on my jack, 1,347 videos we can make towards the end of the year. That alone will cover over 2 months of videos we need to do. So far, so good. But, and there's a lot more buts to come, ladies and gentlemen. Remember how I was talking earlier about how there will be shifts where I'll work from 12 to 8? Well, there will also be days in which I work from 11 till 7 o'clock. These will typically be Fridays, not all, these will typically be weekends, not all of them. But if we to entertain the idea that I can make 7 videos in between like 9 o'clock till 11 o'clock, then with an extra hour on hand, we could make that 10 again. And even though I don't have it all on hand and stuff like that in terms of like my rota and stuff like that, there's going to be days coming up into either September or October or even November where I would probably have to work night shifts. Now, in this scenario, ladies and gentlemen, I could make as many as 10 videos in a day from basic from like quarter to 12 all the way up to like 5 o'clock. We could do all that. So if there were days in which we could, there's loads of basically, if we were to like say the deficit in terms of the range of probability from working like night shifts to whatever times of the day, then that means we could add at least um taking all of this as a whole, we could add at least 250 more videos we can add onto that. And I suppose as well, depending on size and stuff like that and speed, we can add it. We'll chuck another three in there just to make it a round figure. So that means that taking what I know as a whole and taking what we can do theoretically with what time we have left, and knowing about what videos I can make in advance and what videos I can make to reduce the deficit, and also all the time I have. So taking every single scenario we have as a whole and taking every single range of possibility in terms of taking full advantage of the things I have access to, the sum total of all the videos I can make from now all the way until the beginning of the new year consists of 1,600 videos, aka 2 months and 3 weeks. Meanwhile, however, ladies and gentlemen, there's you got to remember is that once the new year begins is when the videos will start going out, and it's when I have to fill up my quota again. Because if releasing 600 videos just a month is going to be an awesome undertaking, then what's it going to be like when the month is over? Because I would say for every 600 videos I release a month, I've got to have like nearly 650, possibly even 700 ready in the rear to be released. I don't even know if I can even conceive if that sort of schedule is like substantial, or even if I reach my quotas and can present my data for what it is, that it would even reach the outskirts of possibility if people were going to be interested. The problem I think I've always had, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to trying to make a business out of this, is that it's sort of in this sort of like hemisphere of trying to become successful and famous, is that you kind of lose track on how sometimes people become like successful or famous in the first place. It's almost like I've got it's almost as if like I've completely forgotten that the fun of like being successful is that you can have fun with it and you can enjoy what you do. And I absolutely do love what I do. There's never really been any doubt about that. But what there is a substantial doubt about is, well, what again? Who what if what if I'm ready, everything goes out, and nobody comes to watch my stuff? What if everybody just doesn't care about what I've got to say, doesn't like the opinions about what I talk about? What if all of that happens and everything just it just goes downhill like really, really quickly? And I haven't even touched upon the fact about how I'm even going to go about editing and, doing all of this stuff for all of the videos I'm putting out. I would probably have to like hire somebody full time and pay them at the rate of about like £4 or £5 a video to edit and stuff like that. I can absolutely do it myself, but it can sometimes but this is going to be more in the case of like much larger videos I want to put out. So we'll have to play it by ear when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm trying to. So that's just like that's just the sort of thing that's kind of like really on my mind right now. Um, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I really couldn't tell you if there's a chance that I can do it. Yes, absolutely. I don't like I don't doubt myself, but what I doubt is, well, what on earth it well, it's just like what I said before, ladies and gentlemen. I could either I can just completely pull out of the race and not even bother or try, or I could succeed. I could swim when before people like me would sink. It's this sort of thing is why I was and I, excuse me for like changing the subject just a little bit, but it's the reason why I was always fascinated when I did the Wikipedia articles about Chris and his relationship to business, because I would go through those articles and think to myself, Chris doesn't exactly have a bad idea for a model for what he wants to do. It's the problem is that he can't mechanize it. He can't industrialize what he does because, well, Chris is, well, in many ways, an artist. His art is something that cannot be rushed. Art is something that nobody can rush. But what you can, and also what you can't rush is somebody to have a sense of urgency. And Chris Chan absolutely does not have a sense of urgency. Among many other things that Chris lacks, he lacks like a sense of critical agency about the fact that he can absolutely do it himself. He could absolutely take part in what he does himself. And the fact that he almost doesn't is kind of concerning because he had the opportunity. He absolutely could have done this. I mean, 10 years ago that all of this went by is when he started um, making stuff again, following him burning down his house, and following all of the um blah blah blah. You know, all of those things about just a whole bunch of things. Now, which does bring me into like a very interesting little thing I wanted to do, and this is just um it does bring me to like a rather important question about um yes, now before anybody asks, I absolutely do want to like continue doing Christiana comprehensive history. Like there will be like a new video that will be coming out tomorrow. I think it's like part 64, I believe. And this will be able to continue all the way up until Christmas, because if I'm so paranoid about losing viewers right now, and that through this sort of like lapse in terms of like uploading stuff like that, then I can't really afford to lose the people that are watching this right now. Um, so it is always like part of the time a struggle and stuff like that. Um, Sharing those spots or boil, yeah, don't worry about that. Um, I don't really want to lose any of the guys that are watching this right now, and those who have been incredibly supportive and got in this channel from the depths of despair until very nearly 1,600 subscribers in as many months. That's no mean feat, and there's a lot more of it really pretty much to come. And I can't even get away from the fact that if it wasn't down to the fact that, again, if I didn't believe it was worth talking about, I wouldn't even have bothered to try. But I certainly will say, going from this point forwards, I know that it's probably going to be difficult. I know that deep down inside, I probably can do a lot more. I also know that if I really was interested in doing more, then I wouldn't needed like any sort of like grand Hollywood speech. I wouldn't need any of these things. I would just get on with it. And getting on with it is something that, well, basically I've got to do. So to summarize this whole little saga and this whole live stream and just talking about things that have been on my mind in terms of like business and how things seem a little bit like I'm walking around with like the weight of the world on my shoulders. I just want people to know is that I'm far from done with this. I want to keep going. I've got to keep on. I know what I want out of this, and I want to just I want it to be better. I want things to keep going. I want to do so many things on this platform. I just sort of have got to have got to prepare myself, and like it's this entire operation, this network of channels and videos. It's essentially going to be an extremely oiled machine run by one individual, where I don't really have anything to lose apart from what is left of my dignity. But I also have a lot to gain through the fact that, again, it's just who out there wouldn't give their left or right arm to do the things that they've always wanted to do? When it comes down to things like that, you can't really put it any other way than that. But with all that being said and done, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this little live stream, and I will certainly be taking any questions, by the way, if there's anything you people wanted to ask and stuff like that before we leave. So if there's anybody who's got anything they want to say, then just feel free, because I've also heard that Poop Squatch Andrew Ditch got kicked out of his house and he has to like go to rehab because, well, I don't understand how they wouldn't have done that sooner, but yeah, I can't even I don't even really know where to begin with that, to be honest. But there we go. So I think that's about everything, and I'll look forward to seeing all of you guys again next time. So thank you again, and I'll see you guys later. Okay. Thank you.